Welcome, everyone. Today I have Dr. Erika Putnam with us. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, yes.
Good. And Dr. Putnam is going to be teaching anatomy and asana at the 406 Yoga Conference. And this class is going to be really great because we're going to use anatomy terms instead of Sanskrit terms, but not in a really hard to follow way. Dr. Putnam has such a great background because she's a chiropractor and the owner of The Bend in Whitefish, Montana. She uses a broad and holistic approach to treat spinal and extremity conditions and then other health problems with a variety of chiropractic techniques, rehabilitation, yoga, nutrition, lifestyle, and functional medicine. She is bringing over 20 years of experience in the chiropractic field to the 406 Yoga Conference. And she's also an ERYT 500. So you know that she knows her anatomy and her yoga stuff. She is the owner of The Bend in Whitefish, Montana, like I said, and she runs a really great practice there. So if you're ever, looking for a chiropractor or looking for health and healing, The Bend is the place to go. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I really want to just kind of talk about your class a little bit, anatomy and asana. I mean, tell us a little bit about what we can expect to learn in this class. And yeah, tell us a little bit about what we can expect to learn.
Well, my intention really is to make it a bit of a refresher course about anatomy. Just because a lot of times people are doing yoga, they don't necessarily know body parts, right? That they may confuse the hamstring and the quadriceps or the biceps and the triceps, things like that. And not that you have to know, but I do think if you're a teacher, it's a good idea to have a good handle on that. So it's just a fun way to play with movement and play with the body in terms of position and space, and just have a refresher that maybe we just don't get to do all the time. And for me, it's really fun because I think about why would we be doing a pose anyway, and what maybe muscles are involved or joints are involved. And so speaking to them specifically will be my goal. That why are we doing this, and how do we get the most benefit from it? And especially because I am interested in healing, and I'm interested in rehabilitation. So for example, let's say we were doing something in the hips and it bothered you in a certain position. That might be a way that particular student in my class at this event could go to their physician and say, hey, when I internally rotate my hip, I get pain in my piriformis, or something like that. So that they can utilize the words and the movements and the descriptions, because I know as a chiropractor, because I can see how people are in a pose and I know the pose and where it's going, I can help troubleshoot some of their injuries. So for me, I get to use yogi poses actually diagnostically. So I'm kind of weaving all of those things together.
I think that's super cool. And, I think you brought in a good part of that why. We should know why, as yoga teachers, we should know why we're doing a pose and how it can, and have more intention behind that pose. Because I think that will really help our students, it will help us develop better sequences, and will help our students experience a more intentional class. So having some of that anatomy background, I think, is really, really important. So,
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So let me ask, what about if you're not a yoga teacher? Can you still attend, and will you have any idea what's going on?
Yes, and I want to make it that way, right? So I don't just want to cue tricep, bicep, flexion, extension. I want to be able to bridge all of those things. So maybe people who don't have that background feel like they're learning and they're not intimidated. And that, I don't know, I like learning. So I want to create an environment where we're tuned in, but that we can also enjoy our yoga practice, that we bring the mind, body, spirit to it, that we bring the environment of being in community, because that has been limited for us this year, obviously. So I'll be weaving all of those things together, mindful of the fact that not everybody there will be a teacher, and by any means, they should not come because of that. Because I do think at the end of the day, we all have bodies, we all live in them. And so, there's no harm in playing with some of because the same thing, right? I could turn the question like, are all of our classes going to be in Sanskrit? Because that could eliminate some people. So it's really to do yoga and be in yoga and in with our people.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. Good. So what about people with an injury? Would this be a really good class for them? And maybe not like a very acute injury, like a swollen ankle, I'm thinking, but if you are experiencing pain in certain poses, would this maybe be a good class to come to and you could help troubleshoot some things for us?
I would say it's a good class because I have really good awareness of spinal mechanics, right? So my classes tend to be back friendly. They're probably a little bit more beginner than intermediate because I I like to make poses available, let's say that, and keep it relatively simple, at least in this environment. I will not be doing a lot of correcting or conversation or any of that in a class like this, but I think it's one of those things that, I'll have a booth there so people could certainly walk by and say, hey, I had this thing. So I won't diagnose, but I'm really open to conversations about, what could that be? Why could that be? So yes, but it will not necessarily be injury friendly. But I will be showing modifications for things because I have an awareness of injuries. I could recognize that you might not be able to do this or that, or, whatever. So I do tend to throw that in my classes. Absolutely.
Nice. So good. So lots of modifications and stuff. So I think that'd be really powerful to be able to see those modifications as a student. Cause I know I've had a hip thing before and it's hard. You're like, well, I want to do the full pigeon like everyone else, but what other pose can I do instead? So having
Probably,
that.
probably really one of my strengths is that because I understand where people are going with their yoga or what they're doing, I can troubleshoot and make those poses available to people so that they don't have to stop yoga because they have an injury, but they need to understand their injury so they can do yoga.
Wow. That was like mind blown.
Great.
That was a great sentence.
Try and write that down. I am writing a book about yoga and pain, so maybe I can throw that in there later.
That would be a good one. That'd be a good one. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think this is going to be a really great class and, teachers will get a really great refresher and students are going to learn a lot about their physical body and how it works in yoga. So I think this is going to be a really powerful class. And also to really start off the conference, this is going to be like, bam, it's going to be
Great.
great.
I look forward to being there. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.